So hello guys, we have with us Lavish, who is doing his final year from as Master of Statistics in IIT Bombay, and he really wants to share his recent where he has given more 15 plus interviews, and he wants to give his experience with respect to how you can actually clear the interview, what are the important questions that they probably may ask, and again, guys, this is an amazing thing that he. Thank you, Lavish, first of all, for giving your time, for the aspirants, who are actually trying to prepare for data science and all. So before we move ahead, just give a brief experience about yourself, what all things you do, and then we'll probably
Yeah,
move towards your transition phase with respect to the various interviews you have actually given.
yeah. Hi, Krish. It's very good to see you here. My name is Lavish, and I have done my bachelor's in statistics from Delhi University, and currently I'm pursuing my master's in statistics, and I am in my final semester of it, and it is from IIT Bombay. And I have also done one internship in data science from Motilal Oswal company, and after that I set for placements, and now I've got placed in IDFC First Bank as analyst BI. So it was like the thing that I wanted to share today is that I gave almost 15 plus interviews of many companies, and each time when I gave interview, I was like that, man, today I'm gonna crack this interview. I have presented myself like very much. I have presented myself way better than other candidates. I'm gonna crack this interview, but it was not. It was never the case. I started giving back to back many interviews. Two interviews happened, five interviews, etc. The counting was increasing, but I was not able to crack a single interview, and it was the 15th interview where I cracked IDFC First Bank. So the
Okay,
experience,
so the
like
thing was that like you tried to give many interviews from the starting, but you are not able to clear it. Probably will come to know
yeah.
the reason. You'll definitely tell the reason. What was the thing that you're actually lagging, and how probably did you overcome that? So, what was the problem? Do you feel that when you're giving those interview, right, you're facing some problems, and how did you manage that thing as you went ahead with respect to all the other interviews itself?
Yeah. So first of all, like when I gave my first two or three interviews, I like after giving two or three interviews, I realized that where I was lacking and how one interview should be cracked and how it should be given in front of interviewers. So the main things which I realized is that you just have to, like, you just don't have to give answer and just stop there. Like if somebody asks you, what did you do in your project? So you just don't have to tell about your project in a single three, 4 lines and you have to stop there. You just have to build a connection with them. You basically have to give them some sort of stuff that on those stuff they can answer, they can question you further. So like if you are explaining your project, give them some points on which they can further ask you question, and you should be well prepared for that. So that is how interview should go on. Because if you just keep on answering the questions which they are asking, you will somehow not, if not on this question, you will somehow will be trapped on some other questions. So I would just say that plan your interview as you want to give it. So this was I was able to do this after giving two or three interviews, and I was really able to build some connection with the interviewers. So
Okay, now
like it's
probably what you are actually trying to say is that try to give an interview in a way that in which parts you are comfortable, make sure that you make the interviewer
sure,
guide in
yeah,
that
exactly,
specific path, right? And probably
exactly.
you're able to. Okay, just tell about your first 2 to 3 interviews experience, like how the interview went and probably where you got stuck. And then at what point of time you thought that, okay, I cannot, probably I'm not selected for that particular interview. So can you just tell
Yeah.
this particular path?
Yeah, yeah. So first two interviews which I gave were of first one was the company MTX, and second one was the PayU Payments. So there I was asked some like it started with the introduction and it went on asking about my data science projects, and I was like I was very much able to explain my projects and present myself better. Then like they started asking me data science questions like on NLP based questions, on statistics. They started me asking questions, and I was able to like answer those questions as well. But after that point of time, they like I am good at coding, but I am not very good at coding. So they started asking me advanced type of coding questions, which I was not able to clear. Like the theoretical based questions on coding, I was able to answer. Like they asked me some Python based questions, I was able to tell them. But then they said that Lavish, please share your screen, and we are just writing one coding question for you in the chat section, and you just try to solve it. So at that point of time, like we all know that interview in while we are sitting in an interview, everything just goes blank out sometimes. And at that point of time, someone is saying you to just apply your mind and make some logic and try to solve that coding question. So I was not able to do that thing, and that was, I think, the main reason in my first two interviews where I was not able to clear the interviews. This thing happened in
Okay,
MTX interview
was
as well.
that question regarding coding related to competitive programming, or was it a simple code
Kind of,
snippet?
yeah. Like MTX asked me pure competitive based coding question, but PayU payments question was not that much hard. I was able to correct it, like I was able to solve it 70-80%, but I was not able to get it 100% done. But like according to me, that interview was also going very good. And at last, I also asked the interviewer that, what do you think? What are the areas of improvement in my case? Because if I join the company, I will still have 6 months in my hand, so I can grow myself further. So he said that, Lavish, I think that you are good to go and you have pretty much knowledge of what you are doing. You just need some real life experience, and that's all. So after saying that, I thought that now this interview is totally clear and I am gonna crack this interview. But still, nothing happened.
Okay.
So, like, this is the thing.
So was there an incident like kind of thing, like you know everything, but sometimes you
Hmm.
face problem in explaining that particular thing? I'm talking with respect to all the theoretical things that you know, or
Hmm.
practical things that you know regarding machine learning or regarding data science stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But while explaining, sometimes many people get confused. They don't. They're not able to explain it properly. So did you face this kind of problem also?
Yeah, so actually, our seniors also told us that start making group of friends and start talking to them, start asking questions on them. Like you just pick on resume of your friend and start questioning it that why did you write this? What do you mean by this? So we did these kind of sessions as well, so that we can get comfortable on presenting ourselves. But like it was very much, I can say it was almost 2 or 3 times where I got confused and I was not able to present myself very well in front of interviewer. But at any point of time where I felt that I am like trapped in this situation and I'm not able to present myself, I'm not able to share my views, even though I totally know this concept. So at that point of time, what I did is that I basically tried to change the topic, or I basically tried to change the mind of the interviewer. Like suppose he's asking bag of words model, so I really know what bag of word model is, why do we use it. But if I'm not able to present myself at that point of time, so what I would do is that I would just introduce some more terms like TF IDF or something else, so that he maybe just switch from that question to TF IDF and he can start asking me on that particular thing. So that was the thing which I did.
Okay. Initially, did you do this, or from starting only you're trying to do this, whenever you're facing that kind of problem, or
Mhm.
after failing in some of the interviews, probably you learned that thing as you went ahead with
Yeah,
respect.
yeah, yeah. That's correct. Like in the initial parts, like till my 5 interviews, I did not know much about this. I did not know like how to attract interviewer in the sense that he starts asking me the questions which I really want to answer. But like giving 5 to 6 interviews, I can say that it's an art and I developed it.
Okay. And what all things did you focus on writing in your resume?
Okay, so first of all, just like I basically focus on writing more about my projects and internships which I did, because our seniors also told that most of the times what happens is that people write about their uh, what I say extracurricular activities, their achievements, and so on. But like almost 70 to 80% of the times, interviewers are not very much interested in that, but they are interested in asking you about their projects, about your internships, because they can at least get what kind of knowledge do you possess in that particular field. So I basically focus on writing more about my projects and internships which I did. And like
And
in
how many
almost
projects
all
did you
this,
specify? How many projects did you?
I specified 3 projects and 1 internship.
Okay.
And like I chose those 3 projects which were like giving them some different sort of directions. Like one project was on regression, one was on classification, etc., etc.
Okay.
So I tried to do that.
Okay. Now, can you just tell the most common, which was the most difficult interview for you, and what were the questions that were asked? You know,
Mhm.
and you can also
So
say the company name probably if you want.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So actually, I would not say that like any interview was difficult, because what usually happens in any interview is that they like starts with your introduction and they go on asking about your projects and internships, And if they find you like a deserving candidate, then they will probably ask you more about your personality based questions, or more about more about puzzles and guesstimates, etc, etc. But like the most difficult like out of these 15 interviews which I gave, the most difficult one I found was of, I would say it was of delivery. Because in delivery what happened with me is that they ask all this stuff, introduction, projects, internship, etc, but within this they also asked me coding questions. They also like told me to share my screen and solve some coding questions. Also they asked me puzzles, they asked me guesstimates, so they did not leave anything. They tested each and every part of me. They tested my communication skills, my personality skills, my data science skills, my resume, everything they tested. So that was a difficult, I can say.
Okay, now coming to
And
your strong part of the area, right, on statistics. So what are the important questions related to statistics probably they have asked?
yeah, so like if students are watching your, like if students have been following your videos with where you and Sudhanshu sir might, yeah, his name is Sudhanshu sir. You guys take interviews of like these are mock interviews of some students. So you ask some basic statistics questions. So those sort of questions only those interviewers were asking. So I really felt myself very lucky when I just go to ask that what do you mean by CLT? What are the real applications of CLT in real life? Etc etc. And the question that you ask one guy that why do we divide by n minus 1 in case of sampling variance, and why do we divide by n in case of population variance? So these kind of very basic questions they were asking. And in statistics I never found a single question that was challenging for me, because they usually ask very basic questions for statistics. Maybe they'll ask you what do you mean by chi-square distribution, explain it in layman terms, give us an example of t distribution. So in terms of statistics, they will always asking you very basic questions.
So my interview playlist has been helping you with respect to this, right? I guess.
For sure, for sure. Like what usually happened to me, like what actually happened to me is that my seniors always told me that this is not the time where you can just rest, Lavish. You have to like keep on indulging in these sort of activities. So what I used to do is that when I started feeling that I should rest now, what I used to do is I just started scrolling some videos on YouTube. And maybe 4 or 5 months before my placement session, I found your channel and I just started watching videos. So like for example, I earlier also I knew what is TF-IDF, but I was not really able to explain myself, and I was not really able to give an example that if these are 3 sentences and these are the words explained in those sentences, this would be the real TF-IDF score. So this was the thing I was able to do after watching your videos, because you basically not explain only the concept, but you give very good example on that also. So I would suggest that people also watch those sort of videos, because people usually watch the concept videos. They will watch what is random forest, but they will not watch the interviews where you are asking the questions based on random forest. So this will also help them.
Yeah, so definitely we'll be continuing that series and we'll catch some more people who will be attending live interview sessions. Also, we'll also call you one day, one fine day. So you also attend that
Sure,
particular
I
interview.
would love to.
Yeah, definitely.
Actually, I was thinking to give an interview, but like then I thought myself that I am giving so many interviews. That was a time when I almost gave 10 interviews. So I thought that I have already given 10 plus interviews, and I am doing very good in those interviews. So there is no point like to give one more interview. So that is why I did not reach out to you that point of time. But we can surely do this.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Also,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I just wanted to share the list of all those 15 companies which came to our campus, and like those companies where I gave interview. So these
Mm.
companies were MTX, PayU Payments, Postman, Delivery,
Okay.
PwC,
Postman had also
ICICI
come.
Lombard.
Postman had also
Yeah,
come.
Postman also came.
Okay.
And they did not ask me a single question based on statistics, machine learning, data science, anything. The interviewer who was taking my interview, who just said that we believe on smart people. If we are hiring smart people, we can just give them 2 or 3 months training of data science, and they can very easily learn coding or data science or technical stuff. But like, so my whole interview went on asking guesstimates. The interviewer asked me several guesstimates, and my interview went on for around 1 hour. And out of that 1 hour, almost 40 to 50 minutes went on telling guesstimates itself. So this was
Mm.
the thing happened in Postman,
Do
and
you want to
then
share your
ICICI.
screen probably? Do you want to share your screen and show all the company names? Do you want to do like
Yeah,
that or you
like
just
I
want
have
to
not
call
written
out?
the
Oh,
yeah,
okay. It's
I've
okay.
not
You
written
can
the
call
company's
out.
name, but I have
Yeah, yeah. You can call out
yeah.
the company.
So Yeah. So they were MTX, PayU Payments, Postman, Delivery, PwC, ICICI Lombard,
Mm,
which came for actuarial analysts as well as data scientists. And then ICICI Securities came, Pristine Company came, Ignitarium, Benobimed, Nico,
mm.
Extero, and then IDFC came.
Okay. Now, one more thing, when we say like after, like, I know like 15 interviews is also a very long, set
Yeah.
of companies, there are so many companies. How you kept that motivation level of going up, every time probably you were failing from the interview, you're not able to clear it, but still the final interview. Yes, so at one point or this same thing happened with me in my college also. Probably around
Mhm.
five companies had actually come, most of my friends who used to study from me, I used to teach them and all. I could not clear the starting interviews. They got all hired and placed. I used to feel really bad,
Yeah.
but anyhow, used to keep that motivation level up. So how did you manage that thing? So because 15
Yeah.
interviews, just
So
understand. Yeah.
actually, in IIT Bombay, the thing is that the placement season goes for around 5 to 6 months. Out of those 5 to 6 months, the first 5 months are totally devoted, where companies come and they take their aptitude test, coding test, and this interview part like happens from day 1 to day 15. This interview process goes on just for 15 days, from 1st of December to 15th of December. So you just have to keep yourself motivated for these 15 days. And I was pretty much like I was very much aware that I have to keep myself motivated. But it's very like to be very honest, it's very true that people lose hope. And after giving around 5 to 6 interviews, I started feeling like maybe I am lacking somewhere. I am not able to figure this out where I am lacking. But maybe there is surely some point where I should improve on, because I have already given 5 to 6 interviews and almost half of my class has been placed. And I possess good communication skills. I have seen so many videos. I have read so many articles. I have done very good internship, done so many projects. So what is the thing where I'm lacking? So by thinking just this point, I used to demotivate myself. But then, as people say that we have to keep ourselves motivated, no else is gonna come for us and keep ourselves motivated. So I just like when next day came, I make myself very much motivated for this day. And I just started thinking of that particular day, that on this day 7, these two companies are gonna come and I am gonna give my 100% to these two companies. Maybe this is the only day where I have to keep myself motivated. And from tomorrow, from day 8, everything would be sorted out, because it's very short period in our case. Like in Delhi University and in other universities, what happens is that their placement season goes on for very long time. Like companies are coming in December, in January, February, March, and they're taking interviews separately. So that was very short span for me. And
Okay.
yeah, that's the thing.
So just tell about the success part. The last interview. How did it go? What all things they asked? Tell us till the last.
Yeah,
IDFC
yeah,
First Bank, right?
sure. Yeah. So it was IDFC First Bank, and before this, like it was day 15th, and I had totally no hopes and no expectations from the company, because on day 14th, ICICI Securities came, and according to me, I gave more than 500% of myself in that interview, and everything went very, very good. Like I was not able to think a single point where they can reject me, but their result came in the night of 14th December, and they rejected me. So, and this IDFC's interview was on 15th of December and in the morning 9 a.m. So I was really not expecting anything, because I had totally accepted myself that I am not going to crack any interviews, because I have given 14 interviews, and 14 days of our placement season has already been over. Tomorrow is the final day, and nothing will gonna happen. So I just like I was very calm at that day. I was not rushing up on revising things, on learning things, or on talking to myself, or preparing in my mind that what things I should talk about today. So I was very calm, and interview happened very good. Like it started with asking simple introduction questions. They asked me about my intro, and then the main question where I think that I impressed them was that they asked me that, Lavish, you have also cleared so many papers of actuarial science. You have cleared pretty good examinations of actuarial science. So why do you want to switch your career from actuarial science to data science?
Okay.
And
What
don't
is
you
the
think that
exact difference between? Sorry. What is the exact
Mhm.
difference between actual science and data science? That also you can
Yeah.
probably tell the
So
audience.
basically, yeah. So in data science, what we do is basically we like try to derive insights from the data. But in actuarial science, we are just not limited to the data. We have to actually make the schemes, we have to make the policies for the companies. Like it can be insurance policies, it can be retirement policies, etc. So we see that LIC is coming up with so many good insurance policies. So the people who are actually making these policies, who are actually predicting these things, that this should be the premium for that particular insurance policy. So this is the model policy which actuarials build, and the work of data scientists is totally different.
Okay. Yeah, I
So
continue.
they asked me that, Lavish, you have cleared actuarial science. So why, first question is that why do you want to switch your career? Second question was that, don't you think that you're overqualified? And third question was that, if we hire you today, don't you think that after getting some sort of experience, you will just leave our company for your own better terms? So my answer to this particular question was that I said them that when I was in third year of my bachelor's, I had one very good option and one certain option, that I can get a good job in actuarial domain and I can start working with them because I had already cleared pretty good examinations. But at that point of time, I so many people who are working as actuarials, like who have so much data, but they don't even know how to get insights from these data. So I thought that why not also get these skills? And sometimes I see many data scientists working in finance field, banking field. They don't even know what are call options, what are put options. So basically, they are not even aware of financial terms. So at that point of time, I thought that why not to have the combination of both the skills? So that was my sole motive, and that is why I started preparing for IIT Bombay, and I came here, and now I have been learning data science, and in my bachelor's I learned actuarial science. So at this point of time, I think that I would be able to apply these combination of these two studies which I have gained over past few years. So I would be really able to help company by applying my skills. So that was my answer, and they were pretty much satisfied with this answer. And then they started asking like some basic data science terms to me. First of all, they asked me like how was my experience with my regression project. Also, one thing I want to like uh, pin out here is that if you are going for finance companies or banking sectors, they would basically they are very much interested in asking you regression sort of problems, because their work is more dependent on regression problems rather than deep learning problems, classification problems, etc. So when I gave interviews of ICICI Securities, IDFC First Bank, and other banks, so they were not like focusing on my NLP internship. They were not focusing on core data science. But when I was giving interviews of other companies like PayU Payments, where they actually came for the exact profile of data scientists, so they were more focused on asking me NLP projects. They were more focused on asking me, what do you actually mean by TF-IDF? What was the need of TF-IDF over bag of words model? So they were asking those sort of questions. So if people are applying for finance sector jobs, I think that they should at least do one regression project. It would come very handy in the interview. So this thing also happened with me, and they started asking me about my regression project, and I explained it very well. I had already prepared for it, and I explained it. And then the interviewer started asking me the like questions. Like he started checking my knowledge on regression and data science. So he asked me some basic questions also, like what do you mean by multicollinearity? How do we remove it? Why is it a problem? What is VIF? Why only VIF? Why not pre-call score or other measures which are used for identifying multicollinearity, and questions like that. And he also asked me that what is the formula of VIF, and why do we only focus on the VI values greater than 10? Why not VIF greater than 1? And like my answer to this particular question was that, sir, the formula for VIF is 1 upon 1 minus R square. So as R square will increase, this denominator will decrease and this whole term would increase. So if R square is increasing, our VIF is also increasing. And if R square is increasing, that means that there is no multicollinearity, and that is very good model that we have just fitted. So and this are after answering this thing, he asked me that what do you mean by this R square, in which you have just used in VI formula. So I said that, sir, this is not the real R square. This is the R square where we just don't take care of the dependent variable. We just forget that. And like suppose I have x1 to x50, and I want to check that whether x1 is linearly correlated with other variables. So I'll make my x1 as a dependent variable and other x2 to x50 as predictors, and then I'll fit the model, and then I'll calculate R square, and this is how my VI will be calculated. And then I will go on checking whether my VI value is greater than 10 or not. So like this was my answer, and again they were very much they were pretty satisfied with this answer. And then they asked me some basic data science questions, like I'm telling you, like do you think that in a high dimensional data set where you have very high number of predictors, sorry, you have very high number of predictors, like say 2000 features, and you have just very few observations, like 100 observations. So do you think that here you can apply your regression problem? Do you think here prediction would be successful, and so on? So these were the questions, and I was able to answer them very good. And after this point of time, I think that interviewer got to know that I have very good knowledge over the project which I did, and I basically know what was happening in my regression project. So he he just focused on one question, that first of all tell me that do you think that here regression problem, you can apply regression problem on this high dimensional data set? So I said yes, I think that I can, but that would be of not very much helpful for us, because first of all interpretability would be totally lost. So his follow-up question was that why do you think interpretability would be totally lost? So I said that, sir, suppose you have 2000 predictors, so our equation would be yi is equals to beta naught plus beta 1 x1 plus and so on, beta 2000 x 2000. So basically you are estimating 2000 coefficients. So like it would be very big equation, and significance of predictors wouldn't be that high even for the predictors which are significant in reality. And then the like the other reason for this thing was that in this 2000 cross 100 matrix, I can say, in this data set, my rank cannot be more than 100. So what we will have is that we will be getting infinitely many solutions, and our machine is going to give us one particular answer at this point of time. So that would be one of the particular solution out of those infinitely many solutions. So maybe that is better, or many solutions can be better than that. So that is why I think that this is not the data set where we should just actually apply the regression problems. We can just reduce the dimensionality by applying good techniques like
So
show independent screening.
instead of all these things, you could have told curse of dimensionality, you know. So if you had
Yeah,
explained about curse of dimensionality, they could have automatically understood, and you know what are the problems and
yeah,
all. But yes, you tried your
yeah,
level
yeah,
best to probably show them that what all things you know in your mind, right? So it's good.
yeah. And like then they further asked me that what are the things, what are the techniques which you can use to reduce the dimensionality.
Hmm.
So I talked about show independent screening, singular value decomposition, non-negative matrix factorization,
Principal
multi-dimensional
component,
scaling, etc., etc.
principal component
Yeah,
analysis, PCA, right? All those
yeah,
things are
yeah.
probably there.
They already rejected PCA. They said that we don't want to hear anything about PCA because interpretability in terms of PCA is totally lost. So tell us more about any advanced techniques which you know.
Yeah.
So that was the thing. And then like the basic question which I think that all interviewers are interested in asking is that what do you think are the differences between R square and adjusted R square?
Hmm.
So this is the question I have been like listening of from so many people, and
Hmm.
it's very basic question, I guess.
Hmm.
And the follow-up question onto this is that interviewers these are asked that it's fine that you know the difference between R square and adjusted R square.
Hmm.
Then why only adjusted R square? Why not to use other accuracy metrics like AIC, BIC, ROC curves, cap curve, etc.?
Hmm.
So that was one other question. And after all these things happened, the final and last question which they asked me was of case study. Like
Hmm.
I personally thought that my interview is going very well, and they are pretty much interested that they're pretty much interested in knowing my finance side of, or business intelligence side of knowledge. So they asked me a good case study, and in that particular case study, I'll just like verbally tell the question. They asked me that since we are a bank, we need to decide who are our potential customers so that we can offer them loans.
Hmm.
To decide that, we did not have any data with us right now, but to decide that, we collaborated with Uber cab services,
Hmm.
and they agreed to give us data of all customers who took rides from them in the previous 2 years. So right now we don't have any data, but we have the data of Uber services where many people have taken their services for cab for the previous 2 years. Now, Lavish, you tell me that what are the important features you will look at for deciding this set of people to whom you can offer loans.
Hmm.
So they just wanted to like they wanted me to filter the good features out of the data set which Uber has just given to us to decide that these are the potential customers, to them we can offer loans. So this was the question. And I said that, sir, first of all, I'll offer the loans to those people who are financially better. Because if I offer a loan to someone who is not even earning that much or doesn't have that good financial base, maybe it would be more likely that he will be a bad debt for me and he will not repay me. So as a bank, I would focus on financially better people, and for that, from the data, I think that the important features could be like this is the Uber data. So they will be having data that this particular person, maybe Lavish, took 1 year back, he took our services at daily at this point of time, and for this much of like this kilometer of journey. So I said that we can see the frequency of rides, people who are taking the rides very frequently. Like if someone is not having very good much earning, he's not very good in finance, like his income is not that good, so he may not be taking the rides very frequently. So first of all, we can look at frequency of rides, and other than that, we can look at the money spent on the rides. Like some people, they just take wherever they want to go, they just take rides. They never go by metro, by buses, or they never take the autos. They always take the Uber or Ola cab services. So we can look at the money spent on the rides. And then the third feature can be that ratings given by the driver. So we all know that we give ratings to driver, that how driver behaved with me, how, like, what was the behavior of driver, how he actually drove the car, how he communicated with me. But in Uber, it is also the thing that driver also gives the ratings of the customers. It is not known to us. It's secret between the company and the driver. So I uh, told him that, sir, we can look at the ratings given by the driver to the customer. Like sort of tries to attract the interviewer by asking very good questions. But my point, my tip here was that I just tried to be very simple, and I asked simple question that, sir, please tell me the areas of improvement in my case, because I have studied data science, like I have been studying data science from this past 2 years, and I have also applied my knowledge to real life world. So what do you think are the areas of improvement? Because if I join the company, I'll still have 6 months, and I think that 6 months are very much sufficient to improve or to inculcate a new technique into ourselves. So they like said me that, Lavish, I think that you are good to go. You just need to like improve, or you just need to work on your coding skills. So by that time, they did not even ask me any coding questions. So he just asked me to rate myself in the coding section, and I rated him that I deserve 7.5 in out of 10 in coding. So this was like how interview ended.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what I have also seen is that probably I also have your where you have posted your link, right, about regarding your entire interview experience.
Yeah.
Probably I'll also share this in the description so that all the audience can actually have a look and probably
Yeah.
check it out.
Sure.
So it was an amazing experience, I guess, Lovish, you have actually got, probably now. I hope you grow a lot, you try to, now you have got a full-time job, probably after completing education, you'll be able to do a whole lot of things. Any final thing
Yeah.
that you want to say, people, how to keep the composure and all, any motivational thing at the end you want to say to people regarding interview preparation
Yeah.
and all. And usually people say no, they will say definitely you're from IT Bombay, obviously it can happen. But since you are saying that okay, 15 interviews I could not clear, after that I was able to clear. So any motivational thing that you really want to say people?
Yeah, so I just want to say that like people get mad after giving 2 or 3 interviews. I even saw some of my classmates who are from IIT Bombay. They were also not able to clear interviews, and they were also giving back-to-back interviews. So after giving 4 or 5 interviews, they were just totally losing hopes. They were not even attending my calls. They were not replying to text messages. So what I want to say is that it's an interview, like 15 to 20 minutes you have to present yourself. And out of these 15 interviews, I personally believe that in almost 12 interviews, 11 to 12 interviews, I was able to I was able to answer all the questions which they asked me. I was able to present myself in a very good terms, but still I was not able to clear that. I had a very good degree from Delhi University. I cleared so many papers of actuarial science, and I am currently from IIT Bombay, but still I was not able to clear that. So my point of advice at this point of time is that don't go mad after giving 2 or 3 interviews. It can happen anytime. Like I think that it's your hard work plus like 20 to 30% it's your luck also. Whenever it will run, it will run. It's totally based on your luck. So just keep on your hard work and try like wait for your luck to happen.
Okay.
That's all I can say.
We should, this is a very nice point that you should keep on working hard. Probably, I've also created a video saying that hard work is directly proportional to luck factor, you know. So as more and
Exactly.
more you work hard, probably luck will be there at this particular point of time that you will be able to
Yeah,
achieve
yeah.
anything. So thank you, Lavish, for this, for your time, you know, for so that you were able to share your entire interview experience with all the banks. But yes, best of luck and congratulations. I hope you grow. And
Yeah,
yes, I'll also be giving your LinkedIn ID in the description of this particular video. So if
sure.
any person tries to communicate and ask you, please try
Sure,
to
sure.
provide a response to them. So thank you,
Sure.
Lavish.
Thanks a lot, Krish.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Anything? I think you have told about all the motivational things, right? So, guys, this was
Yeah.
all from our side, and I hope you like this video. Please do subscribe to the channel. Yes, I'll see you all in the next video. Have a great day ahead. Thank you, and all. Bye bye. Bye, Lavish.